Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and yes, I'm still just plain living.
Good morning, John. I'm Peggy Burton, and I'm barely living.
Barely living. We're doing good. We're doing good here.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, actually. The sun is out. It's very cold, but the sun is out, and that makes it nice.
If you notice, as you look around the set today, you'll see we still have a few little snowmen and stuff, because it's very possible the whole half of the country is going to be covered in snow tomorrow.
Are we supposed to get some?
Well, it depends. We'll probably get winds and a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
But it's a front that's going
moving
all the
through.
way across the United States.
It's kind of scary for a
And
lot of
so
people.
then, after that goes through, maybe, just maybe, we might be able to think about Valentine's.
Valentine is right on us. It's next month.
It's next month, and it's the 14th, and we're, what are we today, the 24th?
That's
Yes.
close. That's
24th.
close.
I know that because it's my sister Candy's birthday. Happy birthday, sis.
Happy birthday
To you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Candy.
Happy birthday
to you. Good note.
Happy birthday, girl. Hope you have a great one.
I do too.
Yeah.
Birthdays come around really fast these days.
Well,
when
they
you're
do.
my age.
They do.
You wake up and it's another birthday, and you
Do
think,
you remember how long summer used to be when you were 6 years old?
It just went on forever.
It was forever.
I know, it was great.
Now you just blink your eye and it's
gone.
It's gone.
Now you blink your eyes and 5 years are gone.
Yeah, well, that's possible too.
But
You know-
it's true. You cannot do anything about it.
No,
Time is
no.
going to pass,
No.
and new things happen, new people come along. So,
Miss Moody, I know we had it on the news, and our board meeting last night was Miss Jennifer Moody's last night as our city administrator. She's resigned from the job here and will be the new city administrator for Belle Meade.
she has given a lot of time here.
She's done a wonderful job here, and I personally hate to see her go. And I just want to thank her profusely for all the wonderful things she's done and the very hard and diligent work that she's put in to make our little town a better place. It's
Right.
amazing what she's accomplished.
Yeah, there's the people that give so much of their time and their heart and their soul to this community needs to be honored always.
And we, last night on the board meeting, she teared up a little bit because it would be her last meeting, and thanked the city staff. And we talk about the notables from time to time, the alderman and the mayor and whatever kind of stuff they're involved in, and Jennifer and Mary and some of them. But our city staff is award winning.
Yes, they are.
And the work that they do running this city is just absolutely incredible. And Jennifer recognized that, and she was very deliberate in thanking
Good.
everyone involved with the city that's employed by the city to run this city and help us do the best we can with what we have.
To survive.
Yeah.
To move forward in a changing world.
Yes,
Every
very
day,
much so.
that's right.
Every day. So we wish Jennifer well. I'm sure there'll be some sort of reception or something
Yeah.
for her at some point.
But wish her luck in her new job.
Oh, heavens, yes. She's going to Belle Meade.
Oh my goodness.
3,000
It's going to be a
residents.
huge job.
3,000 residents. One district. And that's all she has to be worried about.
Not have to worry about 20,000.
Not have to worry about 20,000
Yeah.
and not have to worry about, I would imagine, the rules in Belle Meade and the laws have probably been set in stone there for 100 years.
Probably.
Things probably don't change a whole lot there. But I know she'll do a great job wherever she
She will.
goes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
She'll be missed. Sure will. What kind of meanness have you been into since I've been gone?
Oh, well, I'm going to try not to complain. I will just not say anything.
Not say anything?
No.
You look like you got your biker clothes on. Did you ride your Harley in
I
today?
started to.
Wouldn't she look good on a Harley?
Always about my husband used to say the one thing he regretted in his life was that he didn't have a motorcycle and go all the way across the United States on it.
Yeah.
And I've known people that did that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think about it though when it rains. You know.
Well, you know, my friend that during in school, Brooke, during, let's see, what would that have been? The 100th anniversary of the country?
Did she go?
1976? 17, that 200th
200th
anniversary.
anniversary.
1976, there were a bunch of them that went to the East Coast and rode bicycles all
That's
the way across
awesome.
the country, and he did that.
That takes a lot of courage.
And he said it was absolutely eye-opening. And of course, most people don't see 5% of our country.
I know. There's so much to see in the United States.
And it's
You
so
don't-
beautiful
you don't really
and
have
so
to leave
big.
You don't really have to leave the country to see a lot of intriguing
Wonderful
things.
things.
It's-
Wonderful
it's
things.
a beautiful
So,
country.
yeah, get out there and see what you can see. Find the best.
Find the best. Live the best life that you can.
Yeah. Hey, are you going to be playing for Valentine's at the
We
Bell Buckle
are.
Banquet Hall?
We are at the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall on February 11th, which is Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Before
Valentine's
Valentine's.
Day, yeah. And we're excited about that because they do the best food.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they feed the band, and they're just wonderful to us. And they have a huge setup there. It's
Right.
It's pretty. It's just fun. We love being there.
You know, we were there for New Year's and invited some people to come along, and the food was great. And I thought, well, you know, it wasn't really a meal, but it was a meal.
It was constant.
It was very heavy hors d'oeuvres. And so I'm going to get ready to leave. Fran and I are getting ready to leave. You know, the balls dropped and everybody's kissed, and I'm going back there to take my plates back, put them in the garbage, and there's a woman back there making omelets and pancakes.
Oh yeah, I never ate.
And we
during
didn't get out of there till 1:30 or 2 o'clock.
Oh, and the omelets and pancakes were fabulous.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah.
They were just great. So good thing to think about if you have nothing to do for Valentine's.
Right.
Take
and
your sweetheart.
I don't have the phone
down there
number
and
in
do
my
some
head,
dancing.
but you can go to Bell Buckle Banquet Hall and find all the
Yeah.
our South sjsband.org. We have a link to what's
Page
going
on it there as well.
But they're very kind and very generous, and it's a lovely place to be.
Yeah.
Love being there.
Well, you know, I think we probably have a whole lot to do on today's show. I know we have some great guests coming on and to talk about some very important
We
things.
do. We have a couple here talking about the National Association of Mental Health and some of the projects
You know,
they're
and
on.
with all the stuff that's going on about these school shootings and stuff, it's just, there can't be enough conversation about this.
No, there can't. There's so many things that feed into the
Right.
problems with mental health. There's drugs, there's anxiety, and all kinds of things that we need to address.
And, yeah, and
Guns.
I know y'all will discuss it, but, you know, I mean, nobody thinks anything about somebody talking about their heart problem or their cancer problem.
Exactly.
But nobody will talk about this, and it's a health problem just like anything
It's a
else.
huge problem.
Huge problem.
Probably in every country in the world, but I don't know if it's escalated. It seems to have
Right,
escalated.
right.
And as life goes on, it'll probably escalate more. And I don't know.
You know,
there's
then we have
so much to
one of
worry
our
about.
friends from Duck River.
Oh,
The
good.
Duck River cleanup is going to be here today. And that's one of the greatest rivers in the United States of America is
Yeah.
the Duck River, as far as the population of what's in it. And they're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that, somebody. And then let's see, what else we have? Lyle Russell's coming.
Lyle, man
Parks
with
and
the
Rec,
falcon?
but he's talking about his ghost stories.
Oh, good.
He has a podcast that's become very successful.
That's awesome.
And he's going to come and talk about that with us. And we just have a whole lot of good stuff for you, so don't go away. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I have some people on this show, my favorite sisters, Pam and Brenda, and they're here with the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And Lord knows we need to talk about this subject.
Yes.
There is so much of it going on. So first off, let's tell everybody about your meetings, and you all tell me when and where. And
We have a support meeting once a month at the First Presbyterian Church in Manchester. It's 1101 Jackson. It's across the road from Food Lion.
Right.
And it's at 6:30. Everyone's welcome, whether you have a mental illness, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're just curious. It's for everyone.
And I think even if you think you don't know anyone that has a problem, They may be your neighbor, they
we
may
all
be
know
your
someone.
family, we all have it.
Right.
We all know someone.
Yeah, we do.
It's just, it's a safe place to go talk and
Yes.
vent. Anything that's said there stays there. We make everyone take an oath. And
That's good, that's as it should be.
Yes.
And,
We see you at the store or something, we'll stop and talk to you and ask you, but we won't mention anything
Right.
unless they bring it up to us, you know, so I mean, it's, you know,
it's very confidential.
Yes.
And people don't need to be afraid to come there and just unload. That's what I think.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes there's got to be a place to do that. I'm excited about the fact that you all are getting involved with the schools.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
We're on a health council through Coffee County School System, and they have chosen substance abuse and mental health as their focus on the next 3 years.
That's awesome.
And which it needs to be looked at.
Do you know what triggered them to decide to do that?
I don't have any idea.
I mean, I don't know if an incident happened in one of the schools or something, but thank goodness they did.
I just think they see
I
such
just-
a
they
need.
see
Such a
it,
need.
yes.
There is such a need.
And I know people think that people that have problems send out messages, but not necessarily. Sometimes the agony that a person going through, they can hide it and just walk through the day without people noticing. And we all need to be aware that there might be a person there that just needs somebody to talk to.
There's so much bullying in the schools via, in person or via social media. Social media has become a place for kids to pick on each other.
And that's
spread
horrible.
rumors, and I think, you know, it's become worse because of social media.
I think it has. I feel like it has. Not just like your friend gives you a hard time, but then it just spreads and spreads until,
Well, and they can say things and they don't have to back it up, they don't have
Right.
to show that it's true, and they don't have to see your face.
right, you used
So,
to
yeah.
not be guilty until you had a trial, but now everybody just
Yes.
appears to be guilty because so many people are saying it.
It's easier to talk about someone when
Right.
you don't have to look at them, so, you know.
What are some of the worst problems that you all find people bring to the table
At our meetings.
at your meetings? Yeah.
It's generally parents coming who have a child who's been diagnosed with something, and they have no clue how to
No
handle
clue
it.
how to handle it.
And I've been there. You know, my own daughter was diagnosed at 17 with bipolar disorder, and I had no idea I didn't know
What it
was,
meant,
what it
right.
meant, what should I do, and I dealt for 13 years by myself before I found NAMI, and
Well,
you
thank
know,
goodness for
there's-
NAMI because
Yes.
you all have touched a lot of people. I know that.
Well, thank you, but there's so many people out there that are struggling that don't know that there's help out there.
Yeah.
You know, we have resources, we have, you know, things-
Classes.
I know you have. I was
teach.
going to say, do you have any classes coming up?
We don't, but NAMI, Tennessee always
has something.
classes. You can go to namitn.org and search for classes, and there are classes for parents of children with mental health
Right.
issues. There are classes for caregivers of
That's awesome.
people with mental health. They have classes for, they teach, it's called NAMI Homefront. It's for people with PTSD for our military.
Oh, and there's so much in the
Oh,
military.
so
That's
neat,
tragic.
so neat.
Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking about Hunter Girl that was on TV with America's Got Talent or something like that, and she was writing songs with veterans, and she that was her goal, to help them through some of their traumas.
Yeah.
And I think if you have the idea somebody has a problem, mental illness or one of these things we talk about, be open to them, right?
The best
Don't
thing,
be
Listen.
afraid of it.
don't be
Lis-
afraid of it and listen to them.
Right.
Let them talk to you. Listen. And listen with your heart, not just your
Exactly.
head. Listen with
And
your heart.
don't try to fix them.
Right.
Or
that-
judge them.
That's hard to do because, you know, we
Yeah.
as people, especially
We
women.
wanna say, if
we
you will
wanna
do
fix
this,
things,
yeah.
Right.
And-
But you can't always fix it. You just, a lot of times have to just listen.
You just have to listen and,
Steer them in the right direction of where maybe they need to go,
right.
where they can get some help and things like that. But, you know, it's really hard.
Oh,
Phone number's on the screen. That's a Google Voice number. It dials my phone or Pam's number. One of us answers
Oh, that's
always.
wonderful.
And, you know, even if you just have questions, call that number and ask us. You know, if we don't have the answers, we'll find the answers.
that's the most important thing. I think a lot of people are just afraid to ask the question.
Right.
Well, you should never be afraid, because we all have people in our family, and you know, either
Yes.
ourselves or someone else that needs help.
We always say you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
You know, so if you don't know what questions to ask. You don't know what to do or where to go.
Right.
So, you know, just as long as we talk about it, that's the main thing.
So by you all are you two personally in the school, going to be in the schools, or is it
Well,
just
it's not in the schools, but we're on a council.
Council.
council where they can get help?
Right.
And
Yeah.
be
Yes.
referred to
Yes.
this group?
Yes.
And have you had people coming in to get help?
We just got on the council,
okay.
so.
So it's just started.
I've only been to one meeting.
So
I
pe-
was sick last time, so I.
So people need to know that that exists,
Yes.
and they can call the number
That
and
number.
ask about, there must be a lot of people that have questions that they'd like to have answered.
A lot.
You bet.
A lot.
You guys ought to be
welcome.
sitting in this seat every show we do, because I don't think it just worries me more than anything, I think, is to think that a child or an adult or whoever it is suffering and not getting the help they need.
Right.
Because there is help out there. Well, they've cut us off.
They did.
Well, Pam and Brenda, I am so delighted you were here, and thank you for what you do for the world.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do, too.
And we'll be back with who knows what.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM. and improve everyone's game, on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hi, I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the Valentine's dance at Bell Buckle Banquet Hall, which is coming up February 11th on Saturday night. And to get tickets or to make a reservation, you just call Bell Buckle Banquet Hall. You can find it on the web. And right now we're going to show a clip from our band.
South Jackson Street Band is Middle Tennessee's premier big band. Visit our website, sjsband.com.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch and John. We're here for segment 48.
We're marching right towards 50.
We're going towards 50.
Oh, yeah. I didn't practice any of these songs I'm doing, Pat, so if I mess up on the words, I don't think anybody...
That's better. I think our interchange has been better,
yeah,
unrehearsed.
A fella did this years ago, and then the Oak Ridge Boys made it real famous. Okay. See if I can do it. Well, eyes that look like heaven, lips like cherry wine. She sure enough can make my little life fine. She's gonna jump and holler, I just found $2. We're gonna go and find that preacher man. Elvira, my heart's on fire for Elvira. Giddy up, papa, mow, mow. Giddy up, papa, mow, mow. High, oh, silver, hey, way. Well, tonight I'm gonna meet her at the Hungry House Cafe. She sure enough can make my little life fine. We's gonna jump and holler, I just found $2. We gonna go and find that preacher man. I believe I did that before. Elvira, my heart's on fire for Elvira. You want to do this, Pat?
Keep it up. You and John are doing great.
Papa, ooh, papa, mow, mow. Giddy up. Papa, ooh, papa, mow, mow. High, oh, silver, hey, way. High, oh, silver, hey, way.
That was...
Who did that? Dallas Frazier. Dallas Frazier, I think, wrote that, probably made lots, and I believe that was his name. Dallas Frazier wrote that. And I should have practiced on that song a little bit, at least, before
When
I
you
tried
give that
it.
name, you don't have to send any royalties then to him, do you?
No,
Good.
I don't guess.
That was a fine rendition of it, I'll give you that.
We just borrow. We don't steal, we just borrow.
For short periods of time, that's right.
Short periods of time, that's right.
Well, John, a couple weeks ago, we mentioned that back in the 50s, 60s, and some of the 70s, there were high school football coaches with rural roots that coached long periods of time, and we spotlighted Jim Cartwright from Columbia, one of those segments. But in segment 48, I believe we're going to try to talk about another one. His name was Mike Mayfield, and he coached at Cannon County or Woodbury. And he was probably a little bit more rural, maybe even than Coach Cartwright. And he came to Tennessee from Sand Mountain, Alabama. And evidently things were really backward and really rural there, because he thought Cannon County was, and Woodbury was kind of a metropolitan area and cosmopolitan and so forth. But he was some kind of character. And when he was in, I heard him talk a couple times, and he said that he played in a gym in high school in Sand Mountain that was so small that the half-court line also served as both foul lines. That would be a really small gym. And he had 4 or 5 really good stories. He had a team that he thought was playing pretty well there for a while in a close game, and thought the other team had been off sides, and all of them had jumped, and flags were flying, and the official called it and said that it was on them. And so he called timeout and got the man, the white hat, the head official, come over there and want to know what happened. And he said, well, Coach, he said, it looked like to me, Coach Mayfield said, it looked like to me that those people were off sides. He said, no, Coach, your center drew them off. He said, what did he do? He said, well, he snapped the ball. And Coach Mayfield said, that'll do it every time. Oh, let's see, what else did I have to say about him, John?
I like the one Coach Mayfield says that whenever they won the flip.
Oh, that's when he had a really bad long snapper.
He said, we always chose to go against the wind. That way my snapper could get it back there to my punter.
Yeah. They claimed that on a coin toss at the start of the game that the official came to him and said, Coach, I'm trying to help here, but your captain he's trying to go into the wind. He said, sir, we have to. He said, why is that? He said, my snapper has to snap with it, otherwise he can't get it to the punter. Isn't that a great story? His best stories, I think, were he had several really good teams in the mid-'70s, and that was about the time that Brentwood Academy was really getting established, and they're awfully strong at the top level of state now, but they competed with everybody in Class 1A and then 2A, just in a 3-class system for the whole state that time, and so Woodbury's having to compete with them in the playoffs several times when Coach Mayfield had some really good teams. And he said that they were just getting thrashed at halftime, and he asked some of his assistants, what kind of defensive alignment do you think we could change to make this thing a little bit more competitive? And one of them said, well, Coach, I believe we could go with a 12, 13, and a 6 alignment. So we got like 40 players out there. And Coach Mayfield thought about it real long and hard, and he said, well, we better not try that. He said it'd be awful embarrassing the first time they break a long one off.
Has this picture been up yet, Pat?
Philip, have you had him up there? There he is. He was some kind of character. And I think maybe one of my favorite, and this shows how rural and country he was, one of those Brentwood Academy teams had a tailback named Wally Knox, and he was a really good player, and played at Ole Miss. And this would have been probably, he was competing in the Class 1A, which this guy would have stuck out really well at that level. And somebody said, Coach, how good was that Knox boy? And he said, well, I'll tell you what I did. He said, one time during that game, he said, it was so bad I closed my eyes so I wouldn't have to witness it. He said, to be honest, when he came near me, he said it sounded like a calf running in a pine thicket. That's pretty pretty good description of it.
Coach Mayfield's a good Christian fella, too.
He was a great Christian.
And,
in fact, he worked with Fellowship of Christian Athletes for a while after he retired from coaching.
Yeah, he was a very kind, gentle man.
Really was.
Yes.
A great man. Yeah.
Have you got any other stories on Coach Mayfield, or is that about get it right now?
Well, that probably is going to do it. That gym that he said that had only one line that served at both half court and both sidelines, he said the out of bounds went about 3 feet up the walls. And then you had to grab a hold of a peg and pull your legs up the wall. And I think that may have been a little facetious there.
I'll tell you one thing I just throw out there. It's off of Coach Mayfield's on Milner Carton. He said the worst he ever got beat in basketball was a place called Hanging Limb.
That sounded like Coach Mayfield's story, though. That's right.
Yeah, he got beat at Hanging Limb. Pat, it's been fun.
It's been a great segment, 48.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so we hope we can come back for 49 and try to catch that 50 number.
And we'll try to practice a song next time.
That's right. Over and out. Thank you all.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm glad to have a gentleman with me this morning that I've not met before, Mr. Brian Wofford, and he is here to talk about the Duck River Watershed, and we've had discussion about this over the past couple of years with different folks, and you're going to give us sort of an update on what's going on and how that movement has grown over the last year or two.
Well, we are a 501c3 now, a nonprofit organization accepting donations to work with folks, businesses, and the Duck River. And it's 287-mile length all the way down. And we have a big project coming up March 4th, a trash pickup at Fire Lake. We did this last year. We had about 50 people, and we picked up about 2/3 of one of those very long trash dumpsters. One of the really long, and the trash came all the way to the front of the dumpster and just kind of rose all the way to the back of the dumpster.
Right.
We had about 50 people involved, and did about 6 hours of trash pickup with the help of gobs of folks and TVA. And we're organizing that again this year for Saturday, March 4th from 10 to 4.
10 to 4, okay.
And
It's
we're
my
hoping,
birthday.
Awesome. We're hoping to have
I
food.
might spend my birthday with you.
Well, that's a good place. Last year I brought out a canoe and canoed down the lake shore and picked up trash that had been left by other people on the land that were picking up trash. And TVA brought a big boat and they picked up trash. They brought the boat and 2 people and picked up trash all over the lake, and mostly they picked up stuff that people had already been down to the land and picked up trash and got them in big trash bags, and then they'd come by and just bust, both those trash bags to our dumpster. And tires, we had one girl come from Lynchburg that took all the tires to our recycling center down there. Unbelievable
Good
amount.
for her.
A pickup truckload of old tires.
Yeah.
Took those away for us. And we had a good day. We had a good weather day and 50 volunteers. And we just want to build on that and do it again this year. We're thinking we might double that in size. We might have 100 people.
That'd be great.
With the help of students from Webb School, with the help from a Trail Life Scout troop at Encounter Life Baptist Church in Manchester, with the help of a Boy Scout troop at the Methodist Church in Manchester, with the help of the little 4-wheel drive club that helped so much. Last year had more people involved than any other organization.
Well, if you're running along a riverbank, a 4-wheel drive vehicle is a pretty good thing to have.
Yeah, and there's trails down there, and they were able to access places and bring trash back that we could not have gotten to.
Right.
And we couldn't have gotten people to those places except by boats, and we only had one canoe in the TVA boat. This year we're going to involve Miss Gray's class from Manchester, her 6th grade class. So we are unsure of how many of those students will come, but we're hoping for a good number and their parents to join us.
Well, and y'all have probably done this. There are a whole lot of people around this area that kayak.
Yes.
And it seemed like a kayak club would be somebody that would be a prime suspect for one of these cleanup days.
Well, we're certainly welcoming all. Normandy Lake's a large area, and we've even heard that there's a cove that collects trash that was right out of our reach last year. But if we took 40 people to that one cove, that we could not accomplish the task of the trash that one cove collects.
I'll say.
And last year, we understand that cove was just beyond our reach with the number of volunteers that we had. So there's no limit to what we could do on the lake. There's only a limit to the volunteers that might come and help us out.
You know, when I was young, I spent a lot of time at Rutledge Falls.
Yes.
And matter of fact, my wife and I were married at Rutledge Falls. And in the wintertime, I would walk the creek, and in the summertime, I would fly fish in the little holes and catch sun perch. And I was not real happy when the lake was built, because that got into my playground. But knowing what it's accomplished and the things that have happened, and plus the education of not just the lake itself, but the river. You know, that's one thing that Mr. Van, who's been here before, has educated me about the life in that river. It's one of the most teeming with life rivers in the United States of America.
The diversity is great, even written up in National Geographic.
Right.
And I canoe the river some, and canoe the elk also. And I've seen all 4 types of heron on the river: great blue heron, green heron, black-crowned night heron, yellow-crowned night heron. I've seen mink, otter, long-tailed weasel. I couldn't believe the day I saw the long-tailed weasel, 2 of them fighting with each other. What a treat. Beaver. There's so many things down the river, and the river is so scenic as it meanders through this Middle Tennessee countryside, and the bluffs, the little limestone bluffs it cuts through.
That's some of those places are like, it amazed me going down through there because you feel like you're going uphill. The way the cuts in the rock are.
Right.
You think, wait a minute, this river's running uphill, but it's not.
And the canoeing and kayaking on the river, and the interest in that sport that has generated in the past 10 years is just amazing. And the number of kayaks and the interest goes all the way down to Henry Horton State Park and further down to a group in Columbia that did a recent trash pickup down there that we
Right. Well, that's outstanding, and we just want all of you to know that on March the 4th this year, you have an opportunity. Now, where's everybody going to meet that day?
At the Fire Lake Boat Dock. And
Fire Lake Boat Dock.
Also called something else, Warren something Boat Dock. It goes by 2 names.
Okay. So, Brian, thank you for being here.
Well, you're very welcome.
We
Thank you for having
appreciate it, and know that you're welcome.
Yes.
Anytime, and you come back to see us and keep us informed.
Thank you
You're
so
on the
much.
board.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it's always nice to talk to somebody that's on the board.
Yep, there's
because
about a
they
half a
fill
dozen
you
of
in.
us.
Good. Good for
And
you.
we're trying to push the organization. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. See you next time.
Okay.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no. This warrior will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I have with me today Lyle Russell, who's usually here for Parks and Recreation, but today he's got a spookier subject.
Yeah, not here for parks today. I was here for another reason. But
and let's introduce your podcast and what you're doing with.
So I back in May of last year, I started a podcast called Tennessee Ghosts and Legends, and it's just a short segment that I do just for fun that talks about local ghost stories or local legends, things in and around the state. A couple things have ventured a little bit outside the border, but not much. I try to keep it Tennessee focused.
And from what I hear, you've got lots of hits on that and lots of people watching it.
Yeah.
Or listen to it.
Yeah. The platform that I use has a component where you can go in and see the cities and places that
that's
people
good.
listen. And it's really neat. I went on and looked one day and saw that I had 4% of my listeners are out of the country. They're in Australia and Denmark.
To me, that's amazing.
I was ecstatic. I mean, to think of somebody sitting in Australia listening to me tell a Tennessee ghost story.
No, I love that.
Yeah, it was neat. It's a lot of fun, and I don't really advertise it. So
and what triggered your notion to do this?
Well, so I like storytelling, and what we talked about earlier. I think storytelling in general has become a lost art. From the beginning of time, people have sat around campfires and told stories, and I think that people don't do that very much anymore. And so the goal that I had with this was to try and rekindle the notion of a campfire story that you can download on your phone and listen to.
And to share it verbally.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, there's that verbal communication, I think, is becoming a lost art, and that's
it is.
part of my goal.
It's too bad, because I wonder if people even remember how to make a sentence. Sometimes without writing it down.
Well, when I was a kid, I had the fortunate experience to be raised by two Depression-era grandmothers, and they were huge radio listeners. My grandmother grew up in that era where radio programs were a big thing.
So
the families would gather around the radio to listen to Howdy Doody or Little Orphan Annie.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
very well.
My first introduction to it was actually War of the Worlds by Orson Welles. My grandmother found a copy of that, believe it or not, on a vinyl album.
Oh my, and you got interested.
Oh my gosh, yes. I listened to that all the time. And so that spoken word story has always stuck with me, and I've always enjoyed that. And so that's what I try to do with my podcast.
Do you have a favorite story that you're willing to tell?
Yeah, sure. So on both sides of it, it's ghosts and legends, so it's not just ghost stories. My favorite ghost story, I would call it, is a local legend. Here in Manchester, the legend of Sadie Baker, which I'm sure folks who have lived here for a long time will know. They'll know that story, or at least have heard of it. But it's really neat because this was a young girl who was accused of witchcraft, which back and this was early 1800s, 1820s, 30s, in that range. And so it was a girl who was accused of witchcraft. They had a trial, just like you would see in the history books. Not quite the same as the burning at the stake Salem trials, but something similar. And they buried her alive in a grave in Manchester.
Oh my, that just gives me chills.
Oh, I know. I mean, I couldn't imagine what a horrible way to go that would be. But so the grave of Sadie Baker is in Concord Cemetery in Manchester. And I went over to visit it just because, it was my very first episode, and I thought that would be neat to go see. And there's no other markings on the grave other than her name. And so I think, this is just my research and me talking here, but the person in that grave is not Sadie Baker.
It's not the real Sadie Baker.
There may have been a Sadie Baker, but that's not who's in that grave. There's a real person who lived into her mid-60s shortly after the Civil War, who's buried in that grave. But the legend surrounding it keeps people interested.
Right.
So when I went to visit it, it was really neat. People will visit that gravestone and they'll leave things. So there was a horseshoe and flowers and candles.
Interesting.
But one of the strangest things, there was a bottle that was sitting, there was a green bottle, and on it had a label that said unfiltered poison.
Oh my.
And I thought, would it matter if poison was filtered or not?
Right.
It's
What's
not
the
like
point?
a green poison.
Yeah.
It's just poison. So
It's going to take you out regardless.
Yeah, so I mean, and I'm sure the caretakers have to, clean that stuff off
Yeah.
every now and then. But that local one is my favorite. I like telling that one. On the legend side, Tennessee has its fair share of unsolved mysteries, and the Meriwether Lewis death over in Hohenwald, Tennessee, about 2.5 hours from here, is an extraordinary history story. Just by
What is
itself.
the date on that about?
So the Lewis and Clark expedition was in the early 1800s, 1803, 1804, in that range. And he passed away, if I remember correctly, it was right around 1820-ish. The date escapes me, but it's early 1800s. He died very young.
About
He was
200
only
years ago.
35, I think, when he passed. But his death is still a mystery. They're not really sure how he died. And when we went to visit, they have a national park there where that site was, and we went to visit it, and the park ranger was telling us that because of the mystery surrounding his death, that there's people that want to exhume his body. And it's been exhumed once already in the late 1800s. They pulled him up.
They really actually pulled him up.
Yeah, they did. And so when they reinterred him, they put him in an unmarked grave because they didn't want anyone to dig him up again.
Yeah.
And so they have a nice monument there, but he's not actually under the monument. So that that story to me is fascinating, just because there's so much. You think a story from nearly 200 and some years ago now would have some resolution at this
But
date
no,
and age.
it's still
not.
nobody knows.
They don't know if it was poison, suicide, illness, or if somebody killed him.
And that's kind of sad that
It
we
is.
don't know, right?
And he was
because-
young, and
Yeah.
they compared. If Meriwether Lewis came to town, it would be akin to like Neil Armstrong coming
Sure.
to visit. He was very well known in his time, and so if he was coming, you knew in advance, and there was
the crowds would turn out, and
Yes,
it
they
would be a
would.
parade and all that.
yes, they would. So for his death to be such a
Or-
mystery
yeah,
is fascinating.
that
to
is
me.
fascinating.
Love that story.
And do you find that most of your stories have to do with Tennessee and local stories, or do you go out? Do you
I
go
focus
beyond?
my stories just local to here.
Yeah.
I prefer, Tennessee has a very rich history in general. So legends, ghost stories, amazing things that happened here. The good and the bad, the miracles and the massacres. We've had some amazing stories that have come out of this state, and there's so many here that if I got too far outside, I think we'd lose
You would
those.
never get through telling
I
it.
know. There's so many good stories.
Do you
here
ever
in
have people
Tennessee.
from other states or countries sending you stories?
Yeah, I've had some
And sharing with
recommendations that
you.
I've done some
Yeah.
research on. One of them I turned into a podcast. There's a legend called The Beast of the Land Between the Lakes, which is pretty terrifying. That one, if you listen to that one, it's pretty scary, if it's true.
And what was it like? I'm not familiar.
Yeah,
so.
it's kind of a Bigfoot / werewolf legend for the land between the lakes that goes up into Kentucky and has part of Tennessee. And there's a lot of theories and mystery around that, whether it's true or not, or whether some of these killings actually happen.
It's tremendously exciting what you're doing, and I think the fact that you're getting so much input from around the world, that is awesome. So, well, let's tell them again real quick how to get there.
Yeah, so if
they
you're
can watch
interested
it
in
or
podcasts,
listen. I keep saying watch, but you listen.
Yeah, this one's I have a face for radio, so this is
Yeah.
just audio. But if you're interested in podcasts, you can go on any platform that has them. It's Tennessee Ghosts and Legends, and you can also find the scripts and links to those on my website at lylerussell.net.
That is fabulous, Lyle. You just never quit doing wonderful things.
Well, thank you, Peggy. It's always fun to be here. Thanks for having
We'll be back with something.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, folks, we're back, and I'm so glad to have someone on the stage with me today that I've liked for years and have respect for the hard work she puts in for our community, and that's Miss Robin Dunn. And Robin,
hello.
It is about time for another TEDx, isn't it?
It is. Spring's coming, so it's time for another TEDx. We are going to be at South Jackson Civic Center again this year. It's going to be on April 15th. So I'm really excited.
Oh, tax day.
Yes, that's how I remember it. That's how I remember it. So, yeah, it should be really fun, though. We've got, for those who aren't familiar with TED Talks, this is an independently run thing by people from here in town, like Philip Scoggins is going to be helping us, and Tisha is with us, and my husband Josh. We've got a great crew. Of course, all the folks from South Jackson are going to be there as well. This is all about ideas worth spreading. So this is what is next for our community. What's already happening? Where are people making a positive difference? We've got a great lineup. We've got a gentleman coming from Motlow going to be talking about virtual reality. We have a doctor who's a children's endocrinologist, and she's going to talk to us about the addictive power of cell phones. We've got music, of course, again. It's going to be really great. And I know you just had Lyle just a minute ago. Lyle Russell is going to be talking as well. He's got some.
He's not going to tell a ghost story, is he?
I don't think he'll tell a ghost story, but I'm sure he'll have a great story. It's going to be a really exciting time. So this is the very first year that we're going to have a student from Tullahoma City Schools is going to join us. So
wonderful.
Yeah, this is something I've really wanted to do. So Ariana Marin will be one of our speakers, and she is a fantastic artist. She has some art right now at the Frist that's being Frist art.
That's pretty big.
Yes, it is. So she's going to be talking to us a lot about her own personal experiences. I'm very thrilled to have her. So we've got, for the very first time, we used to have a cap where we could have no more than 100 people in the audience. But I went to a training session, and now we can expand it to the entire theater. So we're hoping to fill the house.
Now, why was that rule, I guess, a regulation put on that?
Yeah, so TED is an international company, and I think they want to be able to ensure that anybody who experiences a TEDx event is seeing something that is in the true spirit of the TED company. So I had to, really get a lot of training to make sure it was that I was aware and that our entire volunteer staff is aware that the types of ideas that we're spreading are ones that really are scientifically, proven, data driven, and that are positive, that are out there to really make a positive difference. So,
right.
And I think that's why, because they want to make sure that if you're going to have a huge audience, they want it to be a true thing.
Right, and that it's an educational experience, and there's not so many people there that you can't feel like you're completely engaged in it.
Oh, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. Okay, so first off, I have to mention our sponsors. So Vanderbilt Hospital is one of our sponsors again this year. NAS and Bechtel are all returning back, and then UTSI is also joining us as a sponsor.
Oh, wonderful!
So, and the really exciting thing about this year is we are having just engagement stations. So it's not just going to be on the stage this year. We're going to be able to interact as audience members and feel creative. UTSI is already working on something as far as, stars. I don't know. It's going to be great. It's going to be really fun. We're going to have a chance to try on virtual reality headsets and be immersed in that. So Motlow is providing something like 30-something headsets. So our audience will be able to try those as well, and it is going to be fun. It's going to be a great morning.
Well, now,
honestly.
will that take place during the presentation, or will that be afterwards?
Yeah, so it'll be like kind of in between. So, we'll have...
We'll go out in the hall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the...
well, then South Jackson's a perfect place for this to happen.
I cannot tell you how glad I am to be a part of the history of South Jackson, to bring this innovation to something that's so historic and so tied to the what it is to be a Tullahoma community member.
Now, let me ask you that question. Is there another local TEDx around here anywhere?
No. There's only, as far as I know, there's only 3 in the state. There's only 3 in the state. There's one that Vanderbilt puts on, there's one that Nashville puts on, and there's us, is what I'm aware of. So
us is the brainchild of Robin Dunn.
I am very glad to be able to showcase the talents and the drive of all these amazing people that live within our region. So it has been a labor of love, and I gotta be honest, I brought it to Tullahoma because I wanted to see a TED Talk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wanted this for me. So there was a bit of, I don't want to say it was selfish, but I thought, man, if I want this, then I bet a lot of other people would too. And we have had a good time. And I'm so glad you came last year.
But people are watching it online. They're watching it. They're watching TED Talks, have been for years.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of what's being discussed.
Sure. Well, Kyle, one of our guests last year, has over 30,000 views on YouTube right now. So, and it says anybody who's watching it sees the name Tullahoma behind him, and I love that. That's serving as an ambassador on the
Yes.
global stage.
Yes.
So, and he represented us very well. Kyle Mitchell did. So,
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And you represent us very well.
Well, thank you for saying so.
And I'm glad as you have stepped out of the political arena that you're still in the service arena.
Well, I think.
And I know that that's something near and dear to your heart, and you will not leave us on that. You will continue doing what you do, and I just want to thank you very much for what you do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I think it's important to practice self-care so that you can care for others. And
There you go.
And I'm
love it.
very thankful.
I love it.
Very thankful.
What's the date again?
April 15th. The tickets go on sale on February 15th.
Okay.
This is the very first year, thanks to some of our sponsorship donors, that we will be able to have both a student price at $20 and then the regular adult admission at $25. We want our kids of Tullahoma to see these, what other great kids of Tullahoma are doing and what some of our scientists and are doing around this region. So
we got it,
awesome.
and
Gonna
we're
be
bringing
awesome.
it to them, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
and
you.
know you're always welcome.
Absolutely. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
See you at TED Talk.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And see you at TED Talk as well.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, we're back, and as normal, and as expected, and as appreciated, we have Mr. Jackie Duncan on stage with us this morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Aye, Captain. What's going on?
How are you? Yeah, I heard that you were sick, and I was prepared. I up half the night making you a get well card.
Me?
Yeah, I was.
Sick.
I missed you a little bit on there or something, but anyway.
They can't keep me down.
Well, that's good. Good to know. And I had a problem with my printer. It was I need to install a new printer, but I ran my cartridge, my ink cartridge, ran out the color one. So anyway, but this is a special get well message for John Gray from a resident of the United States of America. It was almost the president, but it just I thought I better not do that as making a resident of the United States of America.
That's great.
Since I heard you had pneumonia, it's the NEW kind pneumonia. But don't worry, for soon you'll see it will downgrade to old-monia when you get as old as me. So anyway, I'm thinking about you, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Then I was gonna bring you my Get Well muffins. I make some little muffins there out of sight.
I bet they would have been good.
They
too,
are. It
wouldn't
says
they?
my Get Well muffins. Says with a disclaimer. Says I wanted to bring you my Get Well muffins, guaranteed to help you get well. Says the recipe is so secret I'd have to shoot myself if I tell. Said they're made with all healthy ingredients, high fiber, low fat, and so good. But you couldn't stop until they're all eaten, and you wouldn't want to stop if you could. So I thought I'd spare the temptation by providing this muffinless tip. The last one who ate my muffins beat his brains out smacking his lips. That's my standard Get Well card. I composed that a long time ago, but I got it.
And there's never any muffins that go with it because you eat all the muffins.
No, there's the little muffins right in there.
The muffin never gets out of your house.
No, I do bring the muffins though sometimes. But now these are little sample muffins in here, and each one of them's got Jackie's muffins on them, except two down here. One's got JD for Jackie Duncan, and then the other one's got JD muffins for Jack Daniels, one of them.
Oh.
Got a little Jackie in it, and then the other one said GD muffins for George Dickel. So giving equal time for each one.
There you go.
But anyway, that's
and that's for me.
That's my little Get Well card.
Put that. I'm gonna frame that.
That's great.
Well, I'm gonna make you a better one, cause with one of I get my ink cartridge installed. I'll do that today, hopefully. I might new ink, my new printer. So anyway, well, I was thinking about you, bud, and this was after midnight.
Well, I appreciate that.
It was after midnight last night, but I wanted to say something.
Well, you're a night owl anyway.
Oh, I am. So anyway, but I had a problem the other day, and I was thinking someplace here in town that really had memories, wholesome memories for me, and it's just not there anymore. But that's WJIG radio station.
Oh yeah, oh heavens, yes.
Yeah, 740 on your AM dial, and Jerry Douglas and Ben's Jordan and Mr. Jordan. And that was back during my early years. My dad, we have history there for God a long time. Back when I was just a little kid, and my dad had every kind of side job in the world. You know, Daddy, people that I went to school with thought we were rich, because we had nice things.
Yeah.
And Daddy had a nice car every now and then. But we lived, my grandmother and grandfather, we all lived together. And my granddaddy was retired from the railroad. My dad was Paul Duncan Sr. He worked for Coca-Cola for 40-some years.
Right.
And they were just icons in the city pretty much, and everybody knew them, and they knew everybody. So that's the key to living, is to be respect, to respect and to gain respect,
Right.
and to love one another. The main thing. That's always been the main thing. Well, anyway, Dad had side jobs. He was worse than some of those people you see on TV. They talk about, hey man, I've got 47 jobs.
Yeah.
Now, Daddy had a bunch of jobs, so, and never had a lot of time to himself to goof off or anything. But Dad was Army. His brother he had two brothers. One was, the next one was Air Force, and the baby boy was Marine.
Wow.
So we covered, family covered the services, and then I had some other ones earlier than that even in there. But Dad was just a good man, and that's why I was born, I guess, at Camp Forest back during World War II. At the end of World War II, because Dad was in the military. So I was born at Camp Forest, the base hospital. Well, anyway, during that time when I got up a little bit, I don't know, 10 years old or so, but I used to go with him sometimes. He had little jobs after his Coca-Cola plant. And one of them was a radio station out here, WJIG.
Yeah.
He cleaned up out there, just little jobs that he'd pick up here and there. And so one of them was that one, and I remember well, I loved to go to the radio station, and just to be in that environment.
Right.
And nothing, I couldn't play the music or anything, but just to see all these things, and get the exposure. And you think that, this could be something I could do someday. And it wound up was something I got into one day, and that's another story because we don't have enough time to talk about that today. But bottom line is that there was a little record. I know one time, how everybody sends little their records to the radio station, a sample,
Sure.
Yeah.
to get played, and hopefully that
Somebody will
play
hear it.
Yeah, and you'll get famous and all this. Well, one night I saw a record in the garbage can, and I was getting ready to dump the trash can, big old trash can in the AP newsroom. They had an AP teletype writer out there. So anyway, but I looked in there. Somebody had thrown this red record. That's what it was, just a little red vinyl record. And I just trash, you know. So somebody said it could. They didn't play it. They just threw it in the trash. So anyway, I took that thing home with me, and over the years, I learned that whole record, both
Did
sides
you?
of it. I sure did. And it was. I remember it was Boogaloo and his gallant crew. And I've gone out on the internet and I've seen that thing. It says it was about a guy driving around town and he picked up a guy and the guy pulled a gun on him, and that was a mess. And then the cops wound up getting him before it was over. But it was a good thing. So anyway, but little things like that I remember, and this was just the early stage of my life. But later on, it's when I wound up really being a part of that radio station. I think, and my sister was too at one time. I think she worked out there at one time. I worked there for a little brief while, and had some great memories and back during that era. And but I drove by, and it was on West Side Drive, right there next between Jack Farrow School and the funeral home that sets up on the corner there on West Side Drive, and there's nothing there anymore. And I went out online yesterday and just pulled up, saw where it said WJIG, and I pulled it up and had a phone number there, and I thought, well, maybe there's something still going on about that. And I called the number, and it's CASA.
Oh.
Yeah, the Children's Advocate Center. And and she said, we get this number get phone calls all the time. I know we're about out of time. So anyway, but I had promised her something, a poem that I was going to do for them, frame it and everything, because of the work that they do, you know, and so it's a blessing. So I reconnected yesterday.
Good.
That's
good.
Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time we said goodbye. Thanks, Jackie, for being here.
It's great to see you.
And
It's always good to be here.
we'll just say we'll see you next time. Be safe out there.
All right. See ya.
We're